You just gotta dunk right in. Hey y'all, so today's for Let's Kiki and Chit Chat, I really wanted to have a conversation about medical bias. But first, I have to give a quick thank you to my patron, Jamie. How you doing? How you doing? And I also want to give a quick thank you to the rest of my patrons. Y'all fucking rock. I also want to say thank you, merci beaucoup, to my subscribers. And yes, I want to say thank you to you, even if you're not a subscriber and this is your first time coming to my channel, hello. And if it's not your first time, why aren't you subscribed, boo? I'm really fucking cool. But anyways, I feel like I didn't properly explain Let's Kiki and Chit Chat, and a lot of people were kind of confused by it. So let me explain it real quick. Basically, it's going to be a series where I wake up, I make up, and I kiki and chit chat with you about more serious issues, more controversial subjects. Sometimes they will be more well-researched, well thought out. Other times they'll be like this, just more ranty. And I do have ideas for my next Let's Kiki and Chit Chat. I really want to cover the transgender community and people and eating disorders. And I also really want to dive deep into this whole Wayfair situation because it's a little weird. But anyways, let's talk about medical bias. So what is medical bias? It is a bias or discrimination against you as a patient for any reason. For me, as a poor, queer, formerly obese black woman, I have experienced medical bias in all sorts of ways. Let's talk about it. So essentially how I became anorexic is due to medical bias, to be honest, if we're being quite frank. The reason I'm icing my feet, I don't know if I mentioned this, I am in excruciating pain. I've talked about my anorexia story. Too long, don't read. The rundown is essentially I have health issues because of my feet, and doctors attributed those health issues and the pain I was having in my feet to me being obese, and they just kept telling me, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight. I eventually decided to lose weight, and it took literally less than like 3 weeks for me to become fully anorexic. It was very fast. It wasn't a gradual slip. Essentially what happened was during the time where I was trying to figure out what was going on with my feet, all the doctors knew I had plantar fasciitis, but I was trying to figure out, like, okay, I have plantar fasciitis, but I'm doing everything you guys are telling me to do, and I'm still experiencing pain. And they were like, well, that's because you're fat. And they referred me to a chiropractor. I met up with him while I was, before I decided to lose weight. And then 2 months after, I came back and he saw me and he was like, wow, like, I can tell you're losing weight. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, that's good, but it doesn't matter. It won't change anything. And when he said that, like, something inside of me dropped. And he essentially was like, this has nothing to do with your weight. He said, you have bone problems. And he said, I would not be surprised if he essentially said this is because of genetics. He said, you have a genetic issue, and I would not be surprised if someone in your family is flat-footed. My bastard of a father is fucking flat-footed. And that fucking coon bastard has given me all sorts of health and genetic issues. I fucking can't believe it. But anyways, my father's flat-footed, and he told me, the chiropractor told me that this is an issue I'll have for the rest of my life. He told me that I might need to get surgery on my feet one day, and he kind of alluded to the fact that I might not be able to walk one day. He said, as I get older, this might become a very serious issue. My bones are fucked up, and I wish that I had taken a picture, because when I tell people this story, I think they think I'm exaggerating. My bones look like goblin feet. Like, my bones, when I saw my bones, I was like, human bones can't look like that. Like, that's just not possible. And when he told me that, I was crushed, because now, by this point, I was already anorexic, and I knew that I knew there was something going on, but I wasn't prepared to call it an eating disorder, and I was not prepared to call it anorexia, but I knew I had an issue. And I remember telling my mom, like, you know, it doesn't matter. And she was like, great, now you can stop losing weight. You've already lost, by that point, I think I had already lost like 30 something pounds. And she was like, you know, and you're more knowledgeable now. She's like, you can kind of slow it down. And I told her, no, that's not the point. Like, now it doesn't matter. Like, nothing matters. And I couldn't explain to her that I'm pissed off because while I was going through all these issues and going to different doctors and they just kept telling me, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight, I was begging them for x-rays and they all refused to give me an x-ray. And I kept saying, can you guys please give me an x-ray? And they didn't. And, you know, I hear so many stories of fat people going to doctors for issues and doctors take one look at them and go, you're fat. And then it turns out that there was an underlying issue. And that just really pisses me off. And let's talk about it. Let's bring up the race card. Black women especially are more likely to die in hospitals and giving birth, and because doctors don't take black pain seriously. There's a lack of proper communication from doctor to patients. I feel like something happens to the human brain when you're in school for too long. Because if you've ever, like, I've spent so much time in hospitals and in doctors' offices because of my anorexia, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And I've watched doctors and nurses communicate. They're really weird. Like, they're weirdos. And I'm saying that in a funny, not terribly mean way. But I really do think, like, something happens when you're in school that too long. They lose a sense of how to communicate. And I think a lot of times doctors don't know how to communicate properly to their patients. I think that's a huge issue. Now let's talk about me being poor and trying to get anorexia, like, recovery. I miss those days, man, because I was fully into recovery. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna beat this thing. Like, I was super pumped and excited. And I remember I went to this eating disorder support group and I felt really out of place. I was the only person of color. I felt like I was talking way too much. I talk a lot, and I talk a lot when I'm nervous, and I don't like the sound of silence, and I just was talking, and I think I was excited because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna beat anorexia. Like, I'm going to beat this thing. You guys have to realize, like, I've never struggled with an eating disorder, so I thought that I literally would beat it. I thought that I could recover in a short amount of time because I became anorexic in a short amount of time. So I thought, why wouldn't I be able to beat it in a short amount of time? And I was so excited and pumped. And this was the summer of 2019. And over a period of time, trying to get help became so difficult that I just gave up and didn't care, honestly. And I gave up on recovery. I totally relapsed, which is that's to be expected. But still, you know, like, I miss my first round of recovery because I was so positive and I was so happy and I was eating foods again and I wasn't weighing myself and I wasn't counting calories, but I was just in a good headspace. I was in such a good headspace and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna beat anorexia. Some of the things that I faced as a poor person trying to get help for, like, eating disorder recovery assistance is so fucking expensive. And I remember one time I got on the phone and I was trying to advocate for myself. I was trying to find a program that Medi-Cal, Medicaid, whatever. I have Obamacare. I have the most basic ass shit. So I was just trying to figure out somewhere I could go that would cover it. And man, all these places refused, and I was calling county numbers. I called, like, NETA so many times. I was calling all these 211, 411. I was calling so many different county numbers. And I remember, I live in California. There are a lot of, like, beachfront recovery, like, Beach Cove, Crab Cove, Coastal, like, you know, I don't even know. There's a lot of places like that out here. And I was calling them, and one person laughed at me, straight up. She laughed at me. And when I asked her, I was like, well, how much would it be? Because I was in a county program, and so the county program was willing to help pay for a program. So I asked them, like, how much would it be for one, like how much would it be out of pocket? And she straight up laughed at me. It was like, you can't afford it. What? And I was like, what the hell, bitch? Like, what the hell? And one place told me it was gonna be like $160 per day or something. Like, I think it was some crazy number. One place told me it was $300 per day. They're ridiculously expensive, and what that does is that prevents people from being able to recover because it's just way too fucking expensive. And I just think it's ridiculous that in America, like, if you're poor, you're literally just gonna die. Like, like, you're just, your life has no meaning, you're dead. Like, and it's just, wow, like, really? Wow, like, we live in a society that just does not value, like, poor people's lives, and that's disgusting to me, and I hate that. And if I ever am in a financially, you know, more successful, more stable place, I cannot wait to redistribute my wealth. Like, I cannot wait to fight for access for everyone because I don't have the means and hopefully the voice to do so. Let me make this clear. This video is not to bash doctors. It's to bash the system, period, okay? But I will say, I do think after they go through experiences with crazy patients and after being in school for like fucking a decade plus, essentially, I think something happens to the human psyche where they forget how to communicate and they start to lack empathy. Sorry, y'all, my phone ran out of storage. But as I was saying, and I think that's a good sign for me to wrap it up quickly. But as I was saying, I think, you know, they are definitely overworked and they deserve respect completely. But yeah, I've dealt with so many rude nurses and doctors and in my time, and I have just felt so disappointed by the healthcare system and the medical system so many times. I remember one time I passed out at the hospital, and I can hear everything when I pass out, and this nurse was like, she's faking it, wake up, she's faking it, like, she's faking it. Why the fuck would I fake passing out? I literally went to the doctor's office because I had already passed out like 5 times at my mom's. I'm not exaggerating. I kept waking up and then going back and waking up and going back, and I just kept coming in and out, in and out. I was like all sloggy and like, it was really bad, honestly. I like had passed out in the lobby waiting for them to call my name, and when they saw me on the floor, they all came. And she was like, she's faking it. Like, and she was just so rude. And I never said anything, but honestly, I wish I had. I told my friends, but I wish I had said something like, why the fuck would I fake this? This isn't a fun disease to have. This is a very terrible illness, and it's completely ruined my life in so many ways. And I was just so surprised by the lack of care in that tone and energy because, you know, nurses stereotypically are supposed to be very caring and kind people, and, you know, there's that whole nurse motif of someone taking care of you, you know, but that's not really true in many cases. And again, I get it. There's a lot of reasons for that. But I think that's a conversation to be had. And I mean, we kind of had that conversation about when nurses were on TikTok. I mean, we've seen all sorts of weird TikTok nurses, and I feel like that is a prime example of what I'm talking about in the medical field. But overall, I feel like I've pretty much covered a lot of the issues I've had experiencing medical bias. I think for me, I've mostly experienced medical bias being a poor person, being a black woman, and as a fat person, for sure. I have experienced medical bias, and I think many other people can experience medical bias for other reasons, for being transgender, for being a woman, you know, for so many other reasons, for being disabled. Oh my God, that's a whole nother topic and conversation that I don't even know if I can have. But yeah, there's definitely an issue, a lack of mental health care. It's a thing, and I think it's a conversation that we should have. Have you guys ever experienced medical bias in your lifetime? What's, you know, healthcare and doctors like in your country? I'd love to know. But anyways, again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. It's like 6:40 and I've legit been trying to film this since like 5 a.m. So that's great. Woof. But thank you guys so much for checking in for this, for today's Let's Kiki and Chit Chat. I just want to say again a quick thank you to Jamie, y'all, my patron. You guys can find my patron down below in my description box. And I also want to say thank you guys for watching so much. I really fucking appreciate it. You guys don't even know. Like, I'm almost at 1,400 subscribers. I have 3 patrons, and people are commenting on my videos, people are sharing my videos, and people DM me and tweet at me about my videos. I can't believe that. I do put a lot of energy and creativity and a lot of my energy into my channel. So I do believe when what you put in, you get out. I truly believe that. But it's just so, thank you. I can't express, like, I just can't express that feeling. I can't express it. I will see you guys soon. I'm definitely going to be filming one more video for today. Tomorrow is le jour du Bastille. Alors, I'm gonna film some videos en français. À demain. Je suis hyper contente. I'm so freaking excited to do that. I have 2 videos planned for tomorrow. One of them is going to be a little raunchy. So, but that video won't actually be posted for a week. That will just be exclusive Patreon content that I will publish a week later. But I will be posting a French music reaction video or something fun for you guys. But anyways, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And I will see y'all in the next one. Alrighty, bye.